und am Ende hier als Sieger vom Platz gehen.
Ich weiß, der Respekt voreinander ist immer sehr positiv. Trotzdem ist es auch ein bisschen überraschend für dich, dass ihr heute von Köln überholt werden könntet, wenn die gewinnen?
Nein, überraschend nicht. Wenn man sich den Kader anschaut, mit wie vielen Nationalspielern der 1. FC Köln besetzt ist, ja, seit Jahren schon, dann finde ich das nicht überraschend. Spielen eine tolle Runde, sind ein sehr, sehr unangenehmer Gegner, ja, spielen ja Frau gegen Frau über den ganzen Platz und das mit einer sehr hohen Intensität, mit einer guten, gesunden Zweikampfhärte und ja, es ist schwierig da zu behaupten und spielerisch durchzusetzen, aber ich denke, wir werden unsere Mittel haben, ja, am Ende als Sieger vom Platz zu gehen.
Wenn ich die Mittel sehe, linke, rechte Seite, unglaublich offensiv, Kögel-Bamser links, Bender und Merino González rechts, ist das der Ansatz?
Ja, natürlich. Wir müssen einen Gegner, der uns sehr, sehr früh unter Druck setzt, da müssen wir mit technischen Qualitäten dagegenhalten. Ich denke, das bringen wir heute auf den Platz. Freuen uns sehr, dass Cornelia Kramer wieder auf der Bank ist und auch Einsatzminuten bekommen kann. So von daher denke ich, werden wir über 90 Minuten wettkampffähig sein und ja, am Ende das Spiel auch gewinnen.
Britta, wahnsinnig viele Themen diese Woche. Leider im Moment wenig Zeit, vielleicht nach dem Spiel. Jetzt mal los. Sandra Maria Jessen, Glückwunsch, ihr habt sie gehalten. Es hätte auch sein können, dass sie jetzt schon geht, aber sie bleibt bei euch. Warum ist das so ein tolles Match?
Ja, weil es von Anfang an gepasst hat. Also Sandra ist erstmal ein toller Mensch, unabhängig von ihren fußballerischen Fähigkeiten. Und sie hat von der ersten Sekunde an sich sehr wohl gefühlt, hat aber auch ganz viel reingebracht in die Mannschaft. Und ich glaube, für sie stand es auch gar nicht zur Debatte, den Verein verlassen zu wollen. Aber umso schöner, dass sie auch sagt, sie kann sich vorstellen, viel länger hier zu bleiben.
Dann ist es so, wir haben die Situation Kölsche Karneval. Ist das irgendetwas, was stimmungsmäßig hilft in so einer Derbywoche oder für uns von außen eher Folklore?
Also auf keinen Fall ist das eine Folklore, im Gegenteil. Also es ist halt, die Woche ist ein bisschen ungünstig für uns, was vielleicht Montag, Freitag betrifft, aber die Spielerinnen sind da sehr, sehr professionell mit umgegangen und wir machen uns da eher keinen Kopf. Wir genießen den Karneval, so wie es halt geht, wenn man professionell arbeiten will und das haben die Spielerinnen auch gemacht, genauso auch das Trainerteam. Und klar wäre es schön, wenn man dann heute vielleicht erfolgreich das Spiel zu Ende bringt, dann kann man vielleicht den Karneval noch ein bisschen mehr genießen.
Wenn ich dir vor 4 Monaten gesagt hätte, ihr könnt heute an diesem 18. Spieltag an Leverkusen vorbeiziehen mit dem Sieg, was hättest du gesagt?
Ja, hätte ich vielleicht nicht gleich gesagt, das wird so kommen, aber ich hätte es mir immer gewünscht, weil ich wusste oder ich weiß, was in der Mannschaft steckt. Wir wissen aber auch, dass wir sehr, sehr viel und hart dafür arbeiten müssen und jedes Spiel für uns immer ein Spiel ist, wo wir ans Limit gehen müssen und heute genauso auch. Leverkusen ist eine starke Mannschaft, spielt eine sehr, sehr gute Saison und auch die knappen Ergebnisse am Ende eines Spiels, das hat nichts mit Glück zu tun, hat man sich hart erarbeitet hier in Leverkusen, deswegen wissen wir ganz genau, was heute auf uns zukommt.
It's derby time on the River Rhine at the height of Carnival season. Local bragging rights, season targets and late night vibes are up for grabs. Under the Friday night floodlights, it's Bayer04 Leverkusen against 1. FC Köln. A neighbourly rivalry renewed, but this season it boasts the fascinating subplot with top 3 ambitions at stake. James Surrogate, your match commentator, and delighted to have the pleasure of your company as we raise the curtain on Google Pixel Frauen-Bundesliga Matchday 18 across the state of North Rhine-Westphalia. The carnival season runs for just over 4 months. It starts on the 11th of November at 11:11 in the morning, and it runs through until Ash Wednesday. This weekend is the climax of the city-wide street festival. 5 days celebrating rich tradition, drinking and a bit of debauchery, all whilst wearing a wonderful array of cultural or cozy costumes. Köln head coach Britta Karlsson said her side were able to enjoy a bit of carnival and still remain professional, but did admit that should they win tonight, they might be able to enjoy it a little bit more. Two sides separated by just a 20-kilometre trip down the River Rhine. Kicking off the action on Matchday 18. Leverkusen against local rivals Köln. Both teams putting carnival celebrations to one side in a bid to bolster their respective top three hopes. But who will claim derby delight and more than just bragging rights? A look at the lineup, starting with Leverkusen's, as head coach Roberto Petzold makes 3 changes to the side that suffered a 1-0 loss to Eintracht Frankfurt last time out, with Friederike Repol suffering a partial knee ligament tear. Raffaella Borgrefe, signed on loan from Liverpool in the winter, makes her first start for Bayer04. Elsewhere, Lila Tarani returns to the back four, while Sophie Stebel once again partners Katarina Pilic in midfield. Swap of ends. Selina Menzel, our woman with the whistle this evening at the Ulrich Haberland Stadion. As for Köln, there are 2 alterations to Britta Karlsson's starting lineup to cope with a quick turnaround following a goalless draw against Essen on Monday. Sylvia Matashik makes a rare start as she slots in for Martina Wiankowska against her former club. Swap of ends. Selina Menzel, our woman with the whistle this evening at the Ulrich Haberland Stadion. As for Köln, there are 2 alterations to Britta Karlsson's starting lineup to cope with a quick turnaround following a goalless draw against Essen on Monday. Sylvia Matashik makes a rare start as she slots in for Martina Wiankowska against her former club. Elsewhere, Annalena Stolzer drops to the bench to be replaced by Zoe Hasenauer. Up front, Sandra Maria Jessen made 46 appearances during her time with Leverkusen. She only scored 2 goals. She's already got 11 in 19 for Köln this season. It was at Köln's carnival gathering when the celebrations were given an extra shot in the arm when the top goal scorer, Jessen, announced that she had extended her contract with the Cathedral City side. Tonight she does take on her former team. And while Köln can move level on points with Leverkusen, tonight's hosts could apply the early pressure in the race for Europe, as victory would move them above Hoffenheim and into 3rd place for the time being, at least. And there she is, the star woman up front. 11 goals in all competitions, 9 in the Frauen-Bundesliga. There are only a couple of players outscoring her in the current campaign. And there were big rumours linking her with a move away from Köln during the winter break. She put those rumours to bed by signing a contract extension. Said she's at one of the coolest clubs she's ever been at. Says they have everything she needs and that she's fallen in love with Köln. And it's fair to say the Köln fans have fallen in love with her as well. It's derby time on the River Rhine as carnival celebrations are put to one side with local bragging rights and 3 precious points up for grabs. We're at the Ulrich Haberland Stadion for a clash of top 3 challengers as Bayer Leverkusen play host to surprise package Köln. Hosts wanting to put themselves on the front foot early, and that's a decent delivery that Fuchs makes a bit of a meal of at her near post. James Surrogate, your match commentator, delighted to have the pleasure of your company on this Friday evening as we get the action underway on Matchday 18 in the Google Pixel Frauen-Bundesliga. A big weekend ahead, and this is certainly a wonderful way to get things started. Raffaella Borgrefe, a lot of eyes on her tonight. Signed on loan from Liverpool, who was brought in to provide cover after the shoulder injury suffered by Charlotte Voll. And then last weekend, thrust into action earlier than maybe she anticipated after Friederike Repol, the undisputed #1, tore or partially tore knee ligaments. Britta Carlson there, the Köln head coach, signed a contract extension of her own at the start of the new year, and the development this club have undergone during her tenure, nothing short of spectacular, from relegation fodder now to a team that are cheekily dreaming of maybe challenging for a top 3 finish, though it would be quite extraordinary and a very impressive way to exceed expectations. It's a bit of a nasty one there on Selina Degen. Take more than that to take her out of the derby, though. Katarina Piljic. She was the woman who provided the drama in the last derby earlier this season, when her late goal saw Leverkusen come from 2-0 down to draw 2-2 in the end. She got the equaliser. That was actually a game that was postponed due to floodlight failure in the first instance. Well worth the wait. Fudala, oh, what a touch there from Vanessa Fudala. Kristin Kogel gets the early shot off, and Irina Fuchs was worried. It drifts well wide of the target. Fudala turning creator, as she can do as well. She and Kristin Kogel in particular seem to have struck up a wonderful understanding. That combination has already provided a couple of goals. The signing of Raffaella Borgrefe came with a little bit of controversy in light of her 6-game ban. I should correct myself. That she received whilst on the books with Liverpool for a racial slur used during a team photo event. She put out a statement on Instagram before the move to Leverkusen, saying that she accepted the decision and the ban, that she was deeply sorry, and that she has learned from the mistake and ultimately learned the impact of language. Borgrefe, former Freiburg goalkeeper before making the move to Liverpool. So well tested in the Frauen-Bundesliga. Nice long throw from Carlotta Vamsa to find Loreen Bender. She's bundled off the ball in the end, and here's Laura Feiersinger. Poor pass letting Köln down and quelling their threat levels. You can see a very ambitious press. Nice ball round the corner. Cross dug out well, and Borgrefe was under pressure, but acquitted herself well to come and claim the ball. There is Roberto Petzold. Said he was expecting a very intense game tonight. One that would be decided by small margins. Said that a week leading up to a derby is always special. There's that extra little bit of motivation. But at the end of the day, he said it's about 3 points. Leverkusen, a disappointing 1-0 loss to Eintracht Frankfurt last time out. A game in which he felt was very positive apart from the result. Said his side's press worked well. They forced mistakes, they created an equal number of chances, they just couldn't get the goal. A result that keeps Eintracht Frankfurt firmly in the mix for the top 3. But a big missed opportunity for Leverkusen against a direct competitor in that regard, because victory for them would have actually allowed them to spend the week in 3rd place. Right now that position occupied by Hoffenheim. We've got a couple of teams in the mix that have a game in hand. Hoffenheim, Werder Bremen, Frankfurt amongst them, and that's almost why Leverkusen needed to seize the opportunity last weekend against the Seagulls to really send a statement of intent. Because the top 3 race, I think, is a lot more open than anyone expected it to be in the current campaign. Frankfurt, having finished in that position in the last 4 seasons, were, of course, naturally the favourites on paper. But Frankfurt have not been as consistent as we've seen from them in recent campaigns. And that ultimately has been the issue for everyone in the race. Köln, Freiburg, Leverkusen, Werder Bremen, Hoffenheim. Any bit of consistency and someone would have been a front runner. Instead, it's still wide open. Corner comes in. Header towards goal, lacked no threat. Zara Agrec takes a ball to the kidney and goes down, but the break is on here for Köln. Oh, Zawistovska. That was a very poor decision in the circumstances. It was going to take something spectacular there to beat Rafaela Borgrefa, who had retreated well. And there were runners up with her there. Zawistovska, a real rush of blood to the head from the Polish winger. And Agrec, after blocking that cross, did feel the effects of it. Right to the lower back, enough to knock the air out of the lungs a touch. And that was what Zara Agrec does really well, asserting herself in the air. She'll have to do that tonight against Caroline Kehrer. She is the target woman up front, Kehrer. Well, Fudala is the finisher. But here come Köln. Oh, Achinska, what a crunching 50-50 with Tarani. Neither player pulled out of that one. Real derby feel to that particular duel. Köln have won it back well here. Jessen unable to turn on the edge of the area, and Vogt, well, very difficult pass to pull off and just put a little too much on it. A very engaging opening to this encounter, as expected, given the derby spores at stake. And here come Leverkusen with Kehrer. Didn't fancy the shot herself, and Zara Agrec gets the ball away at the last. Vamsa. Oh, Pilic has her pocket picked by Zawistovska. Did she get a touch on the ball in that slide challenge? Yes, according to Selina Menzel. Lovely piercing pass. Fudala shifted onto that left foot of hers, but Agrec read the intention. Bender. Her follow-up effort straight at Kehrer, who couldn't cushion it. Well, as mentioned, it's just a 20-kilometre trip down the River Rhine for the Köln fans, and they've clearly come here to make themselves heard. The Cathedral City fans trying to bring some of the derby atmosphere to the Ulrich Haberland Stadion. Meanwhile, Köln are taking the fight to Leverkusen. Lovely play out wide from Sandra Maria Jessen. Put back in, but straight into the gloves of Raphael Borgrefe from Anna Gerhardt, who's playing at left back today with Sylvia Matashik, the former Leverkusen player, slotting in at right back, wins the ball back there, does Matashik, fires in and out into feet for Zawistovska. Köln doing very well to force the mistakes out of Leverkusen so far. You can see they're playing with a lot of confidence. Understandable given the way this campaign has played out. They've already broken the club record for most points picked up in a single Frauen-Bundesliga season. They did it with 9 games to spare. Cross comes in, only one to aim for. Pujic unable to really clear convincingly, but Jessen can't bring it down under pressure either. The fact that Köln have already broken their points record, it almost feels like they're playing with the house's money now. And again, look, the high press. Errant clearance, fires in it, forced backwards, turns well. Feeds it out wide. Chance to cross again. Zawistovska, the only one really to aim for. Put back in the mix. Oh, Zawistovska goes down! And asks the question of Selina Menzel. Tarani immediately arms stretched. Testing her innocence, and it did look like there was a touch, but it also looked there like Zawistovska took a step, realised she wasn't getting to the ball, and then went down. Now Fudala at the other end, almost opens the scoring. The most lethal finisher in the Frauen-Bundesliga, joint top scorer with Selina Cerci of Hoffenheim. She does not need a lot to score a goal, and Tarani ran the risk there with that challenge. But I think Selina Menzel has made a very good decision in the circumstances. Would have been very easy to point to the spot there. Now the corner for Leverkusen. All bodies hit the floor. Now it's Leverkusen appealing for a penalty at the other end and having their appeals waved away. Carlotta Vamsa tries to take on Matashik to the byline, and Polish right back stands her ground well. Matashik, who made 66 appearances during her time with Leverkusen, said she underwent a huge development at the club and wants to continue it with Köln. Now, Carlotta Vamsa is seen as the bright talent who has burst onto the national team scene. Such a key player for Leverkusen, and will certainly give Matashik a fair bit of defending to do tonight, you would imagine. Oh, Fudala, what a pass to Vamsa. Vamsa's first touch just let her down, and in her attempts to recover, she did foul Adriana Achinska. No booking necessary, but worthy of the whistle. Now she takes that touch into stride, and she's through on goal, Carlotta Vamsa. Matashik, who I was just talking about, nowhere to be seen. But that's what Vanessa Fudala can do. Yes, her 11 goals this season are impressive. Some of them match-winning efforts. Oh, and now you can't do that with Vanessa Fudala! Round the keeper, 12th of the season. She goes top of the Frauen-Bundesliga goal-scoring charts, wanting the signings of the current campaign. And Christian Vuk, are you watching? Because her goal-scoring form can no longer be ignored. And when the next German national team is announced, Vanessa Fudala's name has to be on it. Yes, this is a gift from a naive young keeper who misread the situation, but you've still got to take it if you're Fudala. She shows a lot of composure going round the keeper and then finishing with a goal at her mercy. First goal of the derby goes Leverkusen's way, courtesy of their top goal scorer and the league's new top scorer, Vanessa Fudala, who is onto this in a flash as well. Another loose pass. Full of confidence now, Fudala. Happy to set up Steppel, and Fuchs was at full stretch, but it sails just over the bar. After Köln's bright start, Leverkusen bite back. And Irina Fuchs, who has earned the #1 spot this season after being a bit of an emergency signing in the summer in that goalkeeping position. She's capitalised on the fact that there have been injuries to others, including Lisa Schmitz, Aurora Mikkelsen, and Paula Hopper, who's spent a very long time on the sidelines with first a hip injury and then a knee one. Their loss was Fuchs's gain. Britta Karlsson has talked about it being a luxury situation. Did admit that she's a young goalkeeper and that she will make mistakes. It's all part of the learning process. Something tells me she'd have preferred her not to make that type of mistake in the derby, no less. Especially as it just undercuts the way Köln had started this match. And now Leverkusen have a bit of wind in their sails. Achinska fells Vamsa, returning the foul that she was on the receiving end of a few moments ago. Plenty of targets to aim for. Will it be Kurgel's outswinger or Bender's inswinger? Sent into the back post, and good old tussle there between Lilla Tarani and her former Leverkusen teammate Silvia Matashik. Tarani with a big tug on the arm. Matashik certainly made the most of it to catch the referee's attention. But already you can sense 20 minutes played. Leverkusen have taken the lead in a very evenly matched opening bit. It was very engaging. Köln were really forcing a few mistakes out of Leverkusen, and then one horror mistake from Irina Fuchs has really proven costly. But it's got all the elements that you want in a derby, and we've already had a first bit of drama. Penalty appeals at either end as well. What Köln have to do is essentially pretend like the goal never happened, because they really were in the ascendancy, it felt like. Awkward for Vamsa, but she does well and now drives forward. Space ahead of her opens up now for Leverkusen and Vanessa Fudala. Oh, I'm not sure she was offside. She certainly doesn't think she was. That was brilliant from Bayer Leverkusen. Let's be honest, the way Vamsa drove into space drew players into her, and it created space for Fudala out wide. No one near her. She was in no woman's land in the best possible way, because there was no woman around her. And you'd have put your money on her making it 2-0 there with her second of the evening. Matashik looking for the ball around the outside. It's a nice idea, but Vamsa spotted the intention. Roberto Pezzoldi might not look very happy there, the shot we just saw of him, but I can assure you probably is, with this side a goal up. This side's form has been very hit and miss, as proven by the fact in the last 10 games in the Frauen-Bundesliga, 5 wins, 5 losses, 3-3 on home soil since what was an impressive win against Frankfurt back in September. Petzold did admit that with the table situation, this game took on a greater sense of importance, because for Köln it was a chance to move level on points with Leverkusen. For Leverkusen it was a chance to move above Hoffenheim and into third place for the time being at least. That was the fascinating thing, that Hoffenheim in third, Köln in 8th. Those teams between them all separated by just 4 points at the start of play on Matchday 18. So right now we're trying to work out who are the pretenders and who are the genuine contenders when it comes to the top 3. And again, if any team could really produce a consistent run of form, they would take charge of the situation. But everyone guilty of the same thing. Yeah, Gerhardt turns the corner here for Köln. There is the drum that we've heard beating all night so far, and well, if I know Köln fans the way I think I do, that drum will not stop beating all night, unless he needs a genuine break just to grab a bit of refreshments. Vogt now with the corner, dangerous, oh, and the chance for Zara Agret. She appeals that she was impeded in her attempts to head the ball. I'm not so sure, because she seemed relatively unmarked. If anything, she just seemed to mistime the jump here to meet Vogt's corner. She's done so well there. There's a tiny push in the back from Fudala, but no, that's nowhere near enough for a penalty, and Zara Agret has to be stronger in that situation. She can't anticipate not getting any sort of physical contact in a congested area. It's all about asserting herself through the contact, and that was a very good chance for Köln to level the scores. Now maybe a counter-attacking opportunity off the back of Sandra Marie Jessen, but a lovely little dummy. Sells Selina Ostermeier, now it's worked. To Hasenauer. Back out to Gerhardt. Tarani with the defensive header. Hasenauer battles well to win it back. Play it down for Leverkusen, but it was a fair challenge. Zoe Hasenauer goes to goal now! Well, it would have been a fitting end to a little period of play where she showed great purpose. It's Loreen Bender who's gone down, stayed down. And again, it was a bit of a rough and risky challenge. Hasenauer got the ball first, and yes, in the aftermath, she catches Bender. And then the Simi Valley native with the effort on goal that goes just over. She had to wait a long time to make her Köln debut. And then it was a rather unforgettable one, as she described, because it was played out in that game ended in a 1-1 draw, where I think both teams were just happy to take a share of the spoils, given the fact that the conditions were so tricky. And right now, the tricky thing for Roberto Petzold, who's had a bit of a torrid time with injuries to key players over the course of this season. Loreen Bender in need of a fair bit of treatment on the pitch here, and this has completely brought a halt to proceedings. Britta Carlson talked about the fact that she felt that Leverkusen were a few years further ahead in their development than Köln were. Fair to say, given the fact that last season, lest we forget, Köln were virtually, well, in the thick of a relegation battle that never really existed because of Turbina Potsdam's inability to pick up points. But they finished 10th with just 14 points to their name. It actually was part of this downward spiral that seemed to have continued even after Britta Carlson took charge. And yes, there was an upswing in form when she did, but still the end of the campaign was cause for concern. And yet what Köln have gone on to achieve in the 25-26 season, now seen as the surprise package, because I think everyone expected improvement when they saw the signings made in the summer. Marina Hegering, Sandra Maria Jessen, players that added some vital experience to the mix. A promising project that really has kicked on, and while Köln, you could argue, are exceeding expectations, Britta Carlson has clearly found a bit of a magic touch in the Cathedral City hot seat. And as mentioned already, this is their best ever Frauen-Bundesliga season. We've still got a big chunk of the campaign to play. Oh, given away, Achinska. Vogt, can't get the shot off. Back to Zawistovska, digs it out and onto the roof of the net. This time it's Rafaela Borgrefer's turn to be apologetic. The Leverkusen keeper, much like Irina Fuchs, her counterpart, playing her side into trouble. The difference is Köln weren't able to capitalise. Borgrefer was very worried about that effort, but it just drifted a touch too long. Zawistovska, who was one of the guilty parties when it came to missed chances on Monday night. A 0-0 draw against an Essen side who started that game bottom of the table. And that result, a lot more disappointing than the 2-1 defeat to Wolfsburg, where Sandra Maria Jessen really put it best when she said, the fact that we are disappointed with a 2-1 defeat to Wolfsburg, where we almost took a point, really shows how far this club have come. And that chant of Kulla Alaf, that's the colloquial greeting at this time of year in North Rhine-Westphalia, or North Rhine-Westphalia. If you say Alaf to everyone, you know you're in Cologne. If you say hello, you know you're in Düsseldorf. Leverkusen seen as the naughty, smaller neighbours, so to say, between the two big cities. Right now, worthy of their narrow lead, though Köln winning 61% of the challenges. You talk about things that are prerequisites in a derby if you want to take a positive result. That is one of them. I guess Leverkusen won't mind if they've got the lead, but if Köln want to battle back into the game, winning the challenges will be a key part of it. As Jessen now tangles with Ostermeier. Oh, and she's penalised for the foul. Oh, you've got to explain that one to me. I would have preferred to see no whistle at all and put it down to a 50-50 where both players were tangling with each other. Because at one point it looked like Jessen had got wrong side. Take a look at this again. She was wrong side. And then that's a huge tug by Ostermeier. And in the tug, she pulls Jessen to ground, who then falls on top of her. But to penalise Jessen seems mighty harsh. When, if anything, Ostermeier was the one really perpetuating the contact. And now we've got another Leverkusen player that needs treatment from the physios. Loreen Bender was one, now Ostermeier's the next. Jessen and Volk discuss. Jessen's like, how on earth is it a foul? Well, something tells me she might not get an explanation, but she is the type of player that never really lets one particular moment of the match get to her, whether it be positive or negative. She has brought a level of hunger to that lone striker role for Köln that we haven't seen in a good couple of seasons, if ever in the Frauen-Bundesliga, truth be told. You look at last season, and it was Taylor Ziemer, top goal scorer for Köln with 4 goals, and Jessen already has 9. So she's already doubled the output of the top goal scorer for the entirety of the previous campaign. Köln have already beaten their goals tally from last season. 18 last season, 21 already this season. Jessen has almost half of them. Meanwhile, Vanessa Fudala, lone goal scorer so far tonight, her goal separating the sides in this Rhineland derby. She's got 12 goals now and 4 assists, so she's had a hand in 16 of the 28 goals that Leverkusen have scored. So more than 50%, if you're doing a bit of quick maths. And honestly, I don't understand how her goal-scoring form can be ignored anymore. When it comes to the German national team, she's featured for the under-23s a couple of times. She herself has admitted that it, of course, would be a dream, but she's not spending a lot of time thinking about it as she feels it's a distraction. She's talked about the fact that since coming to Leverkusen, she feels that she's become more mature, more consistent. Said it's made a difference playing with a better set of players around her compared to what she was working with at Leipzig, where she was the taliswoman, but she was very much a carrier of that team. Right now she's carrying Leverkusen, but not quite in the same way. It's mainly because her Leverkusen teammates have quickly understood how good she is, and then also how to get the best out of her in front of goal. Go back to the recent 2-1 win against Union Berlin, where Union were 1-0 up for the longest time, and then Fudala just took the game by the scruff of the neck, scored the opening goal with a delightful free kick, set up the late winner for Kristin Kürgel. Now her corner whipped in, flicked on dangerously, pinball in the box, Ostermeier can't get it through the bodies. Still the danger looms. Degen out of touch for a throw-in. Selina Degen, one of the players that's signed a contract extension at the start of the new year with the club. It started with head coach Britta Karlsson, and I think that really was the domino effect, because when she signed on, everyone wanted to continue working on her very promising project as Steppel! Wowzers! Leverkusen double their lead in the derby. And if the first goal was all about a mistake by Irina Fuchs, well, the goalkeeper had no chance here, because Sophie Stebel has just produced an absolute stunner. Oh, the technical difficulty is through the roof. She's almost running away from goal, the ball almost behind her body. She adjusts, she sets herself, and then she puts her laces through it. What a way to score her first goal of the season. There I am rambling on about contract extension. She pulls that out of the bag. What a hit. Oh, that is one that Sophie Stebel will want to watch back time and time again tonight. And something tells me it'll be right up there for goals of the match day. It is going to take some beating this weekend, that effort from Sophie Stebel. In some ways, 2-0 deficit feels harsh on Köln, but they were the makers of their own downfall for the first, and there really is no stopping that second. I honestly do not think there's a goalkeeper in the Frauen-Bundesliga that would have gone anywhere close to that. Leverkusen with a bit between their teeth now. Kehrer taking on Vogt. Fuchs spills, no one there. And Leverkusen would be wise to gamble in those situations moving forward. They might have learned that lesson the hard way. Zawistovska again tripped by Vamsa. Those two are having a right old tussle. Zawistovska and Vamsa. One little head-to-head to keep an eye on. Given away cheaply straight to Zawistovska. Achinska. Taken out by Vamsa, who is a robust challenger at the best of times and is treading a thin line with the referee, Selina Menzel, right now. She's physical, she gets stuck in, but she is not the cleanest of challengers, Carlotta Vamsa, and I think you can tell with that effort there. Step on the toes and a knock of the knees for good measure. But a valuable chance now for Köln, soon after going 2 down, to pull a goal back. Borgrefe with a punch. Appeals for a handball, but touch half-hearted from the Köln fans on that line. It's a bit tough on Köln because they point to a lot of positives. There's Hasenauer with a strike from range. Well, she's had a couple of efforts, both of the half-chance variety, but nevertheless, they are testing Rafaela Borgrefe. And it kind of underlines the point I was about to make in the fact that there have been plenty of positives from Köln in this first half. They've pressed well, they've forced mistakes out of Leverkusen, they've carved out chances, but Leverkusen have just had that little bit of extra quality, helped, of course, by the gift of an opening goal given to them by Irina Fuchs. The type of mistake you can never afford, let alone in a derby. Especially given the fact that you could argue Köln were the more confident team coming in tonight, but now Bender looking to add to Leverkusen's confidence levels, looking for Köln, cut out by Matashik and behind for a corner. Corner. A rare poor delivery there from Vanessa Fudala. Well, something tells me the message from Roberto Petzold at half-time will be, let's test Irina Fuchs as often as we can, because on more than one occasion tonight she has shown her lack of experience and maybe just a few nerves in a derby moment like this. It is a big game and a big moment in the season for both clubs. Now another shot from range, this time Piljic. Gets it back now. Tries to flick it through to Köln, hint of a handball, but Köln with the shot and advantage played. Well, they can't complain then. Köln had the shot. Glorious chance to get a third. Snatched at it, truth be told, in the circumstances. So you can understand why they wanted it brought back. It was a handball. There's no real excuse for Köln slicing well wide. Another robust challenge. This time Kera on the receiving end. Chance of Let's Go Bayer score a goal now, and the third before half-time really would put Köln to the sword. Turanyi battles with Matashik, those two clearly marking each other at set pieces, and Turanyi winning another free kick. Promising area, place where they can get it into the box and test Irina Fuchs once again. Estrella Marino Gonzalez. Headed clear by Matashik, only as far as Vamsa. Now with Bender. Vamsa had actually given up on the opportunity, or at least being involved in it. Degen was worried there as her centre-back partner Zara Agrech gets ahead to the ball. Agrech had to get there because otherwise Degen was completely outnumbered in the middle. Still, they can't get the danger really clear here. Maybe now, Köln. 4 minutes of time added on at the end of the first half. A rare chance to break in transition as Piljic tries to put a shoulder in on Zawistovska, and looks like she's really injured herself here, Katarina Piljic. Not wanting to, you know what, I'd never want to get ahead of myself with stuff like this, but she's in a lot of pain. This was a hefty fall. She put the fall in, and I mean, the way she falls, that's got dislocated shoulder written all over it. potential for a broken collarbone as well, but then don't take my word for it. I am no medical expert. But I tell you what, Leverkusen's physios have been kept very busy so far this evening. Part of a derby is that it's physical. Neither side pulling out of the challenges. Some no-nonsense defending at times. And again, for me, I mean, don't get me wrong, I feel for her, because if she's really injured herself here, you never want to see that for Katarina Piljic, but she was the instigator there. I'll be honest, the fact that she's being pulled up like that means she'll be all right, but maybe potentially just cricked the neck. She is a bit of a warrior, Katarina Piljic. But the Leverkusen physios perhaps going to work their magic for a third time tonight. Just testing out the dexterity of that neck. So right now Leverkusen a woman down as Köln trying to maybe get the ball into the danger area for a goal before half-time, which would be invaluable in their comeback attempts. Gerhardt and Matashik combining well. Cross. Didn't beat Taranyi. Yeah, Piljic back on. Will soldier on until half-time at least. Köln settle for the corner happily. We'll have a few extra minutes added on top of the 4 due to that stoppage. Quite the end to the half if Köln were to get a goal. That's a decent delivery, but it just drifts over. Another commanding header at the back from Matashik and Hasenauer to Jessen. It opens up here for Sandra Maria Jessen. That's the first real sight of goal. Slim pickings to work with for Köln's top goal scorer. Fresh from her contract extension, she'd love to cap off what has been a wonderful week with a goal. Angle was always against her, but it wasn't dragged too far wide. Interestingly, she is the only mum on the books with Erste FC Köln. Mother to Ella. Said that she's been incredibly welcomed at the club, but that was also part of her point when then she said that she has everything she needs. The club have really supported her off the pitch as well as on it, and well, she's repaid their support in kind. Dagan. Called for the header, won it, cleared it. And that is the final action of what has been a gripping derby that's had a little bit of everything through the first 45 minutes. Penalty appeals at either end. Golden opportunities spurned, but 2 goals separating the sides. The first, Vanessa Fudala's 12th of the season, capitalising on a big mistake at the back by the Köln goalkeeper. And then Sophie Stebel pulled out one of the goals of the season to make it 2-0. And that's how things stand at half-time at the Ulrich Haberland Stadion. Hello and welcome back everyone to the Ulrich Haberland Stadion, where we are opening the weekend's action in the Frauen-Bundesliga with a derby in the Rhineland region. Bayer Leverkusen playing host to 1. FC Köln. As we get the second half underway, it is Leverkusen who lead by 2-0. They are the ones stifling Köln's carnival celebrations, courtesy of an opening goal from Vanessa Fudala. She accepted a gift from Köln keeper Irina Fuchs. The second goal, an absolute thing of beauty from Sophie Stebel. She doubled Leverkusen's derby advantage, and as a result, both teams making changes at half-time. Köln reacting to the 2-goal deficit as Paulina Bremer comes on to replace Adriana Achinska. Meanwhile, Katarina Piljic, who we saw pick up that nasty shoulder injury on the stroke of half-time after a heavy fall following a shoulder-to-shoulder clash with Zawisdowska. She is unable to continue and has been replaced by Juliette Vidal. So a like-for-like change there in holding midfield. Leverkusen looking to see out this victory and a return to winning ways. Again, victory tonight for the hosts would move them up into 3rd place above Hoffenheim for the time being at least. Put the early pressure on the other teams in the race for Europe. For Britta Karlsson, 3 points tonight would have been enough to move level with Leverkusen, but they are going to have to produce an almighty comeback if they want to emerge victorious tonight. They've certainly got it in them to level the scores at 2-2, but a 3-2 come from behind win, that might be a touch out of reach, even for a team like Köln. And the difficulty is in this game that the same trend has reared its ugly head again from recent matches. A lack of a clinical touch. Go back to the 2-1 defeat to Wolfsburg, and yes, they scored, but it was a big deflection on a Martina Wiankowska cross that bamboozled Stina Johannes, left her with absolutely no chance of keeping the effort out. And then last week against the side that were bottom of the table at the start of play, SGS Essen, again Köln racked up a whole host of goal-scoring opportunities without actually getting their just rewards. Against Wolfsburg, they had over 20 shots. Against Essen, they had over 20 shots, but technically didn't score a goal themselves. I don't know who that was shown to, the yellow card, but if I were to make a guess, it would be Roberto Petzold, who is a head coach that often talks himself into a booking on the sidelines. Selina Menzel having none of it. Jessen with an interesting flick on there. Zawisdowska will actually try and make something of this now, but the early pass round the corner for Bremer wasn't quite the wisest decision. Kehrer can't quite establish herself against Selina Degen. As you can see, very vocal head coach on the sidelines, Roberto Petzold, and that's as much when it comes to giving instructions to his charges as it is letting the referee know what he thinks of their decisions. Menzel points to the ball. Fairly in her eyes. Hasenauer. Not the best advised pass there. One of the two changes in the Köln lineup tonight. After all, they were in action on Monday, so a slight advantage for Leverkusen in that regard, the extra rest. Gerhardt does well to win that header. Hasenauer stretches, gets there, tries to poke it through to Gerhardt, who couldn't quite match the efforts there from the American. Lovely ball out to Bender. Neat play by Loreen Bender. Ooh, scrambled clear just by Gerhardt in the end. Talk about some hairy moments in the penalty area there for the visitors. Brilliant play by Bender. She is such a tricky customer. Another player that you have to think, if not soon, but when the Women's Euros roll around again in 2029, set to be hosted here in Germany, that someone like Loreen Bender would be prominent in the German national team. So too will this woman, Carlotta Wamser. By then, she might be the starting fullback. Probably on the left, given the fact that Julia Gvin will likely still be captaining the side on the right. Of the Köln drum only takes a break to feed the lyrics of the song. Now it's Fudala being fed out wide, takes on Gerhardt, and Gerhardt with the block. On Zawistovska. Those two have been tangling all night, and she actually got a yellow card for that foul, Carlotta Wamser. Now Selina Mentel taking exception with some of the tussling going on in the 6-yard box. Sara Agretsch against Caroline Kehrer. Fudala swings it in, met by the head of Selina Degen. Zawistovska. Shake only as far as Estrella Merino Gonzalez. Back out to Fudala on her unfavoured right foot, drifting to goal, and Fuchs does well this time to claim first time. Has been a little feisty tonight, taking on the element of a derby between local rivals with bragging rights on offer. Been some fierce challenges, very combative action. At the same time, some very nice, attractive attacking football played by both teams. Leverkusen, when you boil it down to its basics, have had a clinical touch that Köln haven't, but maybe now. Hasenauer's on the run, Jessen in the middle, Zawistovska waits too, cross cut out by Turani. Clearance only as far as Volk, back in, but Wamser deals with it. Now Wamser looking for Kehrer, but it's a loose pass that lets her and Leverkusen down. played by Zawistowska. Pass was a touch behind Vork, but Vork does well. Ooh, that was a bit of a late challenge though on Vidal, and I don't think she got the ball. I do think she's deserving of a yellow card, whether she does or not. The last thing she needs to do is talk herself into another booking. Again, I would say that's a fair decision from the referee. Hasn't got every decision spot on, but she has done well to just keep the lid on things in this derby. Make sure that nothing's ever boiled over. Now, the Köln fans definitely deserving of a goal tonight, but that's not how it works. Leverkusen with the 10 shots on goal to the 7 of Köln. The visitors still edging the challengers 1 department, but there's nothing to show for those particular efforts. Something Köln have struggled to do. While they've had a high press that certainly posed problems and forced a few mistakes, they haven't really capitalised on those moments, and they haven't really gained a true foothold in the final third. Sandra Maria Jessen, just 1 shot on goal so far, a snapshot from a tight angle near the edge of the area. Drifted wide, but didn't really have the pace on it. Maybe now Bremer trying to break him behind. Cleared only as far as Gerhardt. It's a nice spell from Köln, but again, they've got to make something of it as we approach the hour mark. They can't keep taking trips to the final third and ending empty-handed. Of course, that is very easily said, and it's not so easily done. At least the Köln fans are bringing the carnival atmosphere to the Ulrich Haberland Stadion. There are a fair few supporters in attendance, donning their costumes of choice. Always one of the prerequisites of living in the state of North Rhine-Westphalia. You have to have a costume box that has a fair bit of variety, because chances are you'll be out a couple of times over the course of the carnival season, which starts in November and ends in February. And this is, this weekend, the climax of Carnival. Kicked off yesterday with Weiberfastnacht. It goes all the way through to Monday, Rose Monday, when there will be a city-wide parade that takes centre stage, and everyone's feeling a bit hazy by then, truth be told. But if you've got the patience to watch the parade, you often get a whole host of sweets thrown at you and near you that you get to collect over the course of the parade. It's almost like Halloween at your feet, and you don't have to make any effort. Great for the kids, truth be told, but the adults get their kick out of it as well. Now we've got a doctor in attendance. That's a classic. SWAT as well. Look, they're behind the goal. All sorts of colours and costumes. You've got to appreciate this time of year in this part of Germany. It really is vibrant, to say the least. Fudala sends that one wide, but she's more than capable of scoring from there, and as a result, Leverkusen would be wise not to give her that type of freedom, even if it is from outside the area. 12 goals this season. involved in more than 50% of Leverkusen's goals in the current campaign. I mean, it's one thing to put Leipzig on her back and carry them at times. It's another thing to do it with Leverkusen. Yes, the side that finished 4th last season. A lot of talk about whether Leverkusen could close the gap on Frankfurt, and I think they're going to do that, not really because of their own prowess, though, more because of Frankfurt's failures this season, where they have really been short of form. They're still in the hunt for a 3rd place finish, so you would maybe back them when the business end of the season hits to get the job done, because they simply have more experience of getting things over the line in that particular regard. But the air of opportunity is apparent in that battle for the top 3, and with it, Women's Champions League qualification. Wolfsburg in action last night, and if you didn't see Zoran Linder's equaliser, well, I'd recommend going and having a watch. Stunning goal. Not quite as good as Sophie Stebel's tonight, but in terms of the importance, they were 2-1 down, Wolfsburg having been 2-0 down in that game, and it was virtually the last kick of it that Linder produced an effort right out of the top draw. Gives Wolfsburg a pretty strong position of joining Bayern in the knockout stages of the competition. Oh, Vanessa Fudala and Sophie Stebel, the 2 goal scorers, are getting an early rest here. And you might hear a bit of surprise in my voice, and I think that's understandable, because Leverkusen managing this game well, but it does seem a touch early to bring off 2 players that have been so influential. Fudala in particular. Stebel's just come back from a little stint on the treatment table herself, but Fudala was looking dangerous. Probably wanted the opportunity to add to her early goal of the night, and her 12th of the season. But it's Annalena Stolzer on for Laura Vogt. One of the Köln players on a yellow card, so a smart move there by Britta Carlsen, because the last thing they need is to be reduced to 10 women. And Zoe Hasenauer, replaced by Amelie Bornen, youngster, part of the group of players that's recently signed contract extensions. That's what I was flapping my lips about when Sophie Stebel scored a stunning goal. But to go back to it, Britta Carlsen started at the head coach, and her domino was the first to fall, but it was something that sparked a domino effect, because Bornen then extended her contract. Vanessa Leimenstall, Selina Degen and Laura Vogt, so key players for both the present and the future. Vamsa busting a gut to keep that ball in play. Now one-on-one with Matashik and wanting to take her on. Vamsa forced away from goal. Matashik marshalling the situation well there. Cornelia Kramer there, the substitute on for Vanessa Fudala, the target for that long ball, and she was the top goal scorer for Leverkusen in the previous campaign. The young Dane. Her 12 goal output from last season now matched in the current campaign by what Vanessa Fudala has produced in front of goal. She might get a chance here. Teeing up Köln straight at Fuchs. Well, that had 3-0 written all over it, and if Köln puts that either side of the keeper, that's exactly what the scoreline would read. But in the end, can we be honest, that was quite wasteful from Kristen Köln in the circumstances. Wasn't really under any pressure, completely unmarked in the box, had time to set herself for the shot. Didn't need to rush it. And again, just has to put it either side. Let's have a look at this again. Brilliant play by Cornelia Kramer there. That first touch was delightful and completely took her defenders out of the game, but Köln has to do better there. That should have been 3-0. And the way the second half is playing out, it's tough to anticipate that really coming back to haunt Leverkusen, but stranger things have happened in the Frauen-Bundesliga. This is a league that almost always delivers the full spectrum of emotions. Kristen Kurgel, one of the players that's been on the Leverkusen books the longest, 134 appearances including tonight, 25 goals, and that should have been number 26. She's talked about the fact that Leverkusen have developed a very strong ability to trouble the biggest teams in the Frauen-Bundesliga, and Leverkusen now probably count themselves among those, but again, the top three really do feel like a breakaway group, and it's whether the teams below Frankfurt can change that. Right now it's Köln's turn to be reduced to 10 women. Sarah Agretsch. She's caught the eye with some solid defending tonight. Pushed forward to Jessen. First touch made life difficult for her, and then she tangles with the Ostermeier. Those two going back and forth. Neither player taking any prisoners. But then why would you in a derby like this? Right now, Leverkusen doing everything to kind of temper the emotions. Oh, let them play on. That was brilliant play by Annalena. Oh, come on. Oh. That was one of the clearest advantages you've ever seen, and Annalena Stolze deserves to be rewarded for that wonderful bit of ingenuity. And instead, what's happened now is, having broken the lines with that piece of skill, referee's whistle now allows Leverkusen to get back, recover the position, and Zawistovska a little complacent there in losing out to Carlotta Wamser. Shame there if Amelie Bornen had taken that ball into stride. It could have actually produced some genuine threats for Britta Karlsson's side. I don't think she'll put this performance down to Carnival at all. But unfortunately, the Carnival celebration set to be stifled for Köln. They did have the Carnival Sitzung, the Carnival gathering, which is a yearly event. It's part of the club's tradition. The men's and women's teams don their costumes, get involved with the club members, get a bit of a taste of Carnival, celebrate, and this year there was the added bonus of Sandra Maria Jessen announcing a contract extension, which was timely, because given her goal-scoring form, she was attracting interest from bigger clubs. But Köln are the type of club that when you fall in love with them, it's hard to leave, and that's exactly what Sandra Maria Jessen has done. She's not the first, and she will not be the last. It's a very unique club with a unique environment, a unique connection to its community. I mean, the Köln fans are some of the most ardent, loyal, but balmy fans you'll ever come across in German football. In the best, that's meant in the most complimentary way I can. Because they're also the type of fans that, if you're just visiting the city for a day and you fancy taking in a football match, they will welcome you with open arms like you're a family member. And that's the type of experience that these players get at club level as well. It's exactly that type of experience that Jessen talked about, and will have definitely been a huge reason in Jessen deciding to sign an extension. Great news for Köln, great news for the Frauen-Bundesliga. Is this a corner? Is it? The whistle went. I'm assuming it's gone behind for a corner. It's Laura Feiersinger taking a blow to the face. Tear brought to the eye by a knock to the nose. They've all set up for the corner, so something tells me that's what will follow. For now, a couple more changes. Melissa Friedrich is coming on for Loreen Bender. That's definitely a defensive change for Leverkusen. Meanwhile, Martina Wiankowska set to come on for Köln. Let's go, girls, come on, says Loreen Bender. The right winger replaced by Melissa Friedrich. Something tells me that might shift Carlotta Wamser further up the pitch. Either that or it's a switch to a three-woman back line with Marina Gonzalez at right wing back and Carlotta Wamser at left wing back. Estrella Marina Gonzalez just waiting for the green light to take the corner. You have to appreciate the way every ball tonight has been battled for by both teams. Every situation hotly contested, rugby tackles flying in, bodies hitting the floor. It's all been part of what has been a captivating derby. We just wouldn't mind a more climactic ending here, but we need Köln to get on the score sheet for that to happen, and maybe now. Sandra Maria Jessen, lovely turn, angle against her, Ostermeier covers. Looks for a teammate. Does it come to Gerhardt? No, it doesn't. And in the end, the last touch. Oh, it was off Gerhardt for a goal kick, but not spotted by the referee there. Oh, to be a referee, I would absolutely hate it. It's one of the worst jobs in football. Someone's got to do it. But that was a clear final touch off of Gerhardt. That was a clear goal kick, and instead, Köln might score from this corner now, which would be a real slap in the face to Leverkusen. Sylvia Matuszczyk replaced by Martina Wiankowska, one of the changes we saw in the starting lineup tonight, but the other way around, of course. Wiankowska, it was her cross that led to the own goal scored by Sarai Linder against Wolfsburg. But make no mistake, she's got long shots in her locker. The type of player that can produce a moment out of nothing. That's what Köln need right now. Corner comes in. Taranyi. Back out to Gerhardt and back into the mix. Stolzer. Could have maybe brought the ball down there. A bounce ball and appeals for handball, but she's the only one. Köln desperately trying to keep themselves on the front foot. Bremer, lovely little bit of play by Paulina Bremer. Wiankowska. To Agret, who stayed forward. Centre-back against centre-back, and understandably the defensive centre-back won. Oh, shame, Wiankowska. Just needed to bring that ball down, and a very promising situation. Or wanted to step into the breach for. Right now, Now, this is a bit concerning for Caroline Kehrer. Some of the Köln fans taking exception to the fact that Leverkusen's players are taking every opportunity to hit the floor and take some minutes and seconds off the clock. Stand up is a cry we're hearing from the stands. Just under a quarter of an hour of normal time remaining at the Ulrich Haberland Stadion on this Friday night. The opener on match day 18. And the second half has not quite been as spectacular as the first, but then I don't think it could have been. And arguably from Leverkusen's perspective, they couldn't let it be. This was very much about managing this game to a successful end for Leverkusen, and they've done that well in the second half. And the onus was on Köln to do more. And yes, they've had more possession, they've won more challenges, passes completed, not bad either, lots of boxes ticked by Köln, but the one big one that's been missing is the real clear-cut opportunity in front of goal. It's just never emerged. Same problem against Essen, same problem against Wolfsburg. But if anything, even more alarming tonight, because they've barely even created a clear-cut chance, let alone convert one. Bremer does pretty well keep that ball in play. Just can't keep her side on the ball. Caroline Kehrer is now going to come off after picking up that knock. Like-for-like swap up front. Valentina Mädel, the young Austrian, in her place. Yes, and good hold-up play. Now she needs to get into the box. Wiankowska's got to deliver. Ruby Grant stands her ground well. Agretsch, it's good forward defending. Cross deflected by Wiankowska, but this time it's gobbled up by the keeper as opposed to sailing over, like happened against Wolfsburg. Bremer goes diving in for the challenge, but it's Wamser who comes away with it for Leverkusen. Kehrer is off the pitch now, but Kammer ahead, and Wamser goes for goal alone. Oh, she was close to picking out that top corner. Well, no one closed her down. The invite was there, readily accepted. Struck so well, and oh, matter of inches. And now we've got another break in play with the Leverkusen player prone on the pitch. Very much disrupting the rhythm as we enter the business end of this encounter. And for Britta Karlsson, momentum's needed, but it was a bit of a knock to the head and then a heavy fall for Mädel. And I know the Köln fans won't be happy about the stoppage again, but It didn't look like a pleasant experience for Valentina Mädel. Yeah, so it tells me she'll brush herself off and get back into the mix. A nice idea by Bornen, and oof, lacks at the back as Stolzer strikes, but charged down in the end by Ostermeier. She has been impeccable tonight, Selina Ostermeier. Whether it be dealing with the danger of Sandra Maria Jessen, even when she's been beaten a couple of times, she's recovered the position to make sure Jessen didn't get a free shot off. She put vital blocks in, barely put a foot wrong at the back. Has led by example. Oh, now Jessen, here's the chance. Jessen, oh, she put it wide. Ah, the top goal scorer with the golden opportunity to give life back to this derby. Borgrefe even slipped. And Jessen picked the wrong corner. It's not often she's made this mistake this season. But that bottom left corner was begging to be found. And Borgrefe was never have got there had she opened up the boot. Forgivable, given the seasons she's had. Maybe not forgivable in the circumstances of this derby, because again, that would have maybe played in the minds of the Leverkusen players. Maybe given Köln the platform, the springboard for a comeback. Well, some tough fixtures ahead for both teams. Leverkusen in that battle for third place, Hoffenheim and Wolfsburg to come. And for Köln, Union Berlin. And then a trip to Munich to face the league leaders Bayern. Oh, there's a chance for a third, and Mädel got the glancing header, but again, Fuchs equal to the effort this time, helped by the fact that it was relatively close proximity to her. And the closing stages of this game really do rely on Köln getting a goal to make things interesting, but Leverkusen will be doing everything they can to keep the visitors at bay. That's a lovely ball to Wiankowska. Movement in the middle. Cross needs to be good. Oh, it is! It's spilled, and Borgrefe jumps on the ball at the vital moment. Could have gone anywhere. Anything was possible there. Wiankowska just asking the questions. It was Wamser, actually, who got it all wrong. Maybe put off by Tarani in front of her. And in the end, Friedrich holds off the challenge of Jessen to allow Borgrefe to get to the ball first. In an alternative reality, that ball broke to a Köln player. It's 2-1. It's game on for the final 5 minutes and change. But if you want to win a derby, you need a little bit of luck along the way. Now Wamser down the other end. Wamser, oh, looking for Cornelia Kramer. At the vital moment, interception applied. frustration is sitting deep in the Köln ranks, I reckon now. Now they'll be disappointed that they genuinely have nothing to show for their efforts tonight. There is still time, though. Now Raffaella Borgrefe will want to put the controversy of what happened in England behind her. In my opinion, you shouldn't have to use ill-advised language to learn the lesson that the power of language does have. Kramer. Oh, an opportunity for a third in the end. Degen did just enough to put the Dane off. She feels that she was fouled in her attempts to get the shot off. Degen got their header back to Fuchs all wrong, and in the end there was contact. They were tangling a touch, but the contact had stopped by the time that Kramer was getting the shot off. So I think good decision there from Selina Menzel, not the first tonight. A Gretsch to Wiankowska. Right in the mix it goes. Bremer! Köln have got their goal. It might be late, but there might just be time left for a derby comeback from the Cathedral City side. Something to celebrate at least. Paulina Bremer off the bench to reduce the arrears. Could we be set for a grandstand finish here at the Ulrich Haberland Stadion? Brilliant header from Bremer. Borgrefe couldn't get there. The former Germany international showing off her class. Fourth goal of the season. And maybe, just maybe, there's life left, not just in this derby, but Köln's carnival celebrations as well. And now the come on FC chant has a little bit more desperation behind it. Köln are going to risk it. They've got nothing to lose. They're having their best ever season. Can only get better as yes and now glances to Wiankowska. Oh! It would have been technically brilliant had she hit the target from there. A very, very high degree of difficulty. Capable. No doubt about it. Just couldn't keep it down, Martina Wiankowska. But also it does feel like there is something left in this game for Köln. That's the difference one goal can make in a derby on a night like tonight. Köln want the free kick taken quickly and fires in now to Wiankowska. They shift into space. Stolzer. Don't want to rush themselves, but at the same time, time is of the essence. It's a hit and hope cross from Savistovska, and Borgrefe takes the sting out of the situation. How many minutes are going to be added on? The fourth official's board in the hands. Oh, 6 at the end of this derby. And that's plenty of time for Köln to make something happen. Tarani, awkward bounce, Vamsa. Backpedaling, Bremer applies the pressure. She prevents the corner, Wamser. Oh, nice play, and a clear foul there. Selina Degen will go into the referee's book. Justifiably. Tactical foul that had to be made. You won't see any complaints from Selina Degen. Stolzer with the chance to stride forward to Bornen. Jessen waits in the middle. Bornen to the byline. Corner to Köln. Oh, the jeopardy. It's rife now in the Rhine derby. Leverkusen would be good value for all 3 points, but at the same time, Köln will argue our performances deserved a share of the spoils. Corner, Borgrefer with the punch for another corner. Second chance. Opportunity now for Anna Gerhardt. Needs a better delivery than the first. That is better. Borgrefer with the punch. Feiersinger lining it up. Off the shoulder of Degen. Bremer. Oh, it's not a foul. That's never a foul. Bremer has every right to swing at the ball there, because if she gets that ball first, puts her laces through it, it flies into the net, then it's a goal for Köln. It would never be given as a free kick. Now maybe I'll take it back. Kirkle taken out at the hip. Still. Pass from Agretz lacked accuracy. Fuchs now with the long ball. Battled for by Wiankowska. Grant won it, now gets it back from Mädel, but again, it's almost like the Leverkusen players don't want the ball. Feiersinger. No real pressure. Finds Gerhardt. We're not quite in last chance saloon yet, but we're not far off. That's a nice knockdown. Can Gerhardt get there? Yes, she can. They line up in the middle. Cross too long. Grant. Oh, she made it dangerous. Bremer. 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 Oh, it's just wide. So close to being the 2-goal heroine. Paulina Bremer is a whisker wide of completing the comeback for Köln. This was mightily close. She couldn't have done anything more with it. Oh, that feels like it genuinely was a matter of inches. Roberto Petzold, the Leverkusen head coach, said this was going to be an intense game decided by small margins. There were some big margins in the first half as Borgrefer gets Crunched, but to her credit, she is not down in the heap, trying to take time off the clock. There wasn't much in it. Borna did her best to pull out, didn't she? Unfortunately for Köln, that might be that. That chance for Paulina Bremer was the one. And it was ever so close to the dramatic derby moment that we, from a neutral perspective, would have welcomed, but Leverkusen will be mightily happy that they have survived that scare. Now we are in last chance saloon. The 6 minutes of time added on are played. Wiankowska to Bremer, to Feiersinger, got to get there, does. Brought down well by Bornen. Oh, you're kidding. Oh, blow to the head. Play has to be stopped. That'll be what Selina Menzel is telling the Köln players. Can't quite tell, but I'm guessing it's Lila Tarani that's taken the ball to the face. Oh, it wasn't to the face, to the shoulder. Very generous. It's derby delight for Bayer Leverkusen, who hang on for all 3 points. That moves them momentarily, at least, up into third place at the start of Matchday 18. They seized their opportunities in the first half. They hung on at the end of the second. But the final score at the Ulrich Haberland Stadion is Bayer Leverkusen 2, Köln 1. And unfortunately, in a game decided by a goal, you have to look back at the mistake made by Irina Fuchs, the Köln goalkeeper, for the opener, scored by Vanessa Fudala. The gift of all gifts. And that gave Leverkusen the platform to push on for the derby win. It lived up to the expectations. It had everything you want from a clash of local rivals. It was hot, it was heavy, it was heated. No one was pulling out of the challenges. Chances at either end of the pitch. But Leverkusen bounced back to winning ways after the disappointing defeat to Eintracht Frankfurt. They do move up into third place.